Hello everyone and welcome to this month's Cubit Network's Nonprofit Spotlight. Today I'm blessed to be here with Karen Biernacki, who's the CEO of Family Advocates here in Porte. Family Advocates does great things for our community. We've been blessed to be a sponsor of some of your events and help you a little bit here with some of your technologies. But I wanted to have an opportunity to have a conversation with you. So, Karen, would you introduce yourself?
Sure.
Family Advocates?
Thanks, Ryan. This is a great opportunity for us to talk about what we do. We actually celebrated our 30th anniversary last year.
That's awesome.
We had a great gala planned,
Yes.
and of course it went virtual, but it was a great success. I know that you guys were one of our partners for that event.
I remember right, you had the comedian from Ferris Bueller's.
Yes.
I can't think of his name.
Alan Ruck.
Yes, that was really cool.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was great that he participated. I guess the sad thing was he was going to be at our event.
Right.
And then we had to do it virtually,
Sure.
but he was able to do that, so that was exciting. And I just want to give you a little bit of background. I don't know how much you actually know about Family Advocates and how it all came about.
I don't actually.
Well, I started with, there really wasn't a Family Advocates 30 years ago. I started out as one of the first volunteers for the CASA program then in 1990 and became the director in 1991. So it was only really 6 months old before I became the director. And so we started the CASA program and it quickly grew. Our CASA program is a state program, a national program, and we use volunteers who represent children who are abused and neglected and who have been removed from their home. So I always try to tell people that these are not just your at-risk kids, these are kids who have probably gone through some trauma. And they especially need a voice because someone needs to be speaking out for their best interest while everyone else is worrying about what's going on with the parents.
Right.
So our volunteers are actually in Indiana. They are parties to a court hearing, so they can even bring in their own witnesses. So that voice is very strong in a courtroom. We can actually even petition to have parents' rights terminated if we have the evidence in which to do that.
Right.
So we feel like we have this really strong impact. Our volunteers stay on a case until the child is either adopted, goes home, or a guardianship, but we know that child is in a safe environment.
That's awesome.
So that's just been an exciting program. When I started, I was going to school for social work and wanted to work in child welfare, and to be honest, this was just way much more fun.
Yeah.
We get to be a little more creative in the
Sure.
work that we do because we don't have the same limitations that a government agency would have.
Right.
So that's been real successful.
Yeah, and so just, representing the kids and looking out for the kids' best interest, helping kids doesn't really get any better than that.
Right, it doesn't. And the number of people that have come through our doors as volunteers has been like in 500. So,
Wow.
So we get people from all walks of life, the people who just want to make a difference. And it's very rewarding. Volunteers a lot of times say that it really changes their life.
Sure.
They go into this wanting to make a difference in a child's life and then find out that it really changes how they look at their community.
Right.
And look at families in general.
Right. I know in some of my own, non-profit-y kind of things, I always feel like I get way more out of it than the people who are maybe receiving something.
For sure.
So that's very, very cool.
I agree.
Well, that's awesome. So 30 years, have you been in this location the whole time?
No, I actually started out of my house.
Wow.
I started and I was pregnant for my third child, so I stayed working at home until she was about 4 months old, and then we moved. We have had several small offices along the way.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of a one-man shop for quite a while. In 1999, we moved here.
Gotcha.
And started the Harmony House, which is that supervised visitation and safe exchange program. And as you can see, it's like a nice place for people to have access to their kids.
For sure.
So we were doing virtual visits.
I was going to ask you about COVID. So.
Most of the year we were back and forth with virtual visits. They're now back visiting here.
Okay.
But people get to celebrate birthdays, holidays. It just has some normalcy to a routine for families when they have
Right.
to see each other in this kind of a setting.
Yeah, that's great. So if people wanted to learn more about Family Advocates, what would be the best way to do that?
We have a webpage,
Okay.
lpfamilyadvocates.com.
Okay,
They can find out. They can give us a call at the office at 219-324-3385.
okay, we'll list those in, I call it the show notes, but it'll be like in the YouTube description, we'll list it
Yeah,
on
and
there.
like our Facebook page,
Okay,
because
yeah.
we try to keep that updated almost every day. There's something new to
Sure.
learn about Family
Oh,
Advocates.
that's cool, yeah, for
Mhm.
sure. And the last thing, if people wanted to help, what could they do to help you?
Well, as you know, we need volunteers. We've
Right.
lost quite a few volunteers last year.
Yeah,
It was hard to keep connected, and we're starting to get some of those volunteers back. But we have about 60 kids on a wait list right now,
Wow,
which
okay.
we feel like
yeah,
that's really not fair for those kids because their
Right.
voice isn't being heard like some of the other children who have an advocate. So obviously, contacting us to be a volunteer. They do training 3 and 4 times a year.
okay,
We also have a court youth advocate program that uses mentors for
Okay.
older children, so there's opportunities in that program as well.
what type of a time commitment is it for a volunteer?
We ask for 1 year of a time commitment.
Okay,
And it takes about 3 hours a week, but
Okay.
but it's on your own time. The
Okay.
only time we have to have you at a certain time is when you have a court hearing, and that can be maybe every 3 months.
okay,
And right now, those are virtual.
Yeah,
So
right.
you can do that from your
Right.
home as well.
interesting, okay. And then I'm assuming there's opportunities for people to donate financially too.
Yes, we're, as everyone during COVID, I think all not-for-profits are struggling with the financing that they
Right.
might have had in the previous years as businesses are struggling.
Yes,
So those are a lot of our donors.
right,
Individual donations are accepted. You can donate online.
okay,
We are going to be holding a virtual trivia
okay,
fundraiser
Cool.
April 1st on April Fool's Day.
Okay.
And all that information is on the website.
Okay.
So people can have teams, they can put your name on a t-shirt, so it gives people some opportunity to have some fun.
okay, cool,
Mhm.
awesome. Well, thanks so much for your time and thanks for what you do for the community. I see Family Advocates around the little Porte community, all the time. So you're doing really, really good things, and hopefully this is an opportunity for people to learn a little bit more about what you do. And I just appreciate your time and what you're doing.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
you bet.
I can't wait to see it.
All right, thank you.